This conference will now be recorded.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all of you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Dhanatram. So I projected one song which we sang it previously, I think. So Gauranga Bolite, we will do that before others can join. Divya Mataji, or can you follow after me this song?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, just follow after me. After I sing, you can sing after me. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Gauranga bolite habe pulak sharira. Repeat, Mataji.
गौरांगा बोले आते फूल का सबीरा.
Just follow the. Just read it one more time. Huh? Gauranga
Okay.
bolite habe pulak sharira.
गौरांग बोलिते हबे फूल का शरीरा.
Hari Hari bolite na jane babe nira.
हरि हरि बोलिते मां याने बहबीरा.
Har kabe nitai chande karuna hoibe.
अर कबे नितय चंदेर करुणा होइबे.
Nice, Mataji. Har kabe nitai chande karuna hoibe.
अर कबे नितय चंदेरे करुणा होइबे.
Sara padana mo kabe tuja hoibe.
संसार बसन मोर कबे तु चाहबे.
Vikshaya chariya kabe shuddha hoke mana.
विषय चरिय कबे सुदह बेमाना.
Vikshaya chariya kabe shuddha hoke mana.
विषय चरिय कबे सुदह बेमाना.
Kabe amre prabhu Shri Vrindavana.
कबे हम हे प्रभु श्री वृंदावाना.
Rupa Raghunatha Pade Harite Akuti.
रूप रघुनाथ पदे होइबे अकूटी
प्रार्थना करे सदा नरोत्तम दासा
प्रार्थना करो ये सदा नरोत्तम दासा
रंग बोलिते हबे पुलक शरीरा
पाबे हम जबे जुगल मोरा आशा
गौरंग बोलिते हबे पुलक शरीरा
गौरंग बोलिते हबे पुलक शरीरा
बोलिते आयने पावे नीरा
हरि हरि बोलिते नायने बबनीरा
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय और वैष्णव वृंद की जय थैंक यू माता जी दिव्य माता थैंक यू
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. So let me just check if Chaitanya Keshav Prabhu, you are there, Prabhuji? Parsana Mataji? So I don't think they have yet come. Okay. They were in some other preaching class, so they will be joining. Once they join, then we can have their guest lecture. Okay. So before they come, let me just see what I can do. Okay, where is the share part? Okay, sharing. Okay. So yeah, so let's quickly recap before we have other guest lectures, guests come in. So we are in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, and Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about the nature, that is Prakriti, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field, the Kshetra, and the knower of the field, Shretagnya, and the process, knowledge, and the process of knowledge." So he wanted, and also finally the object of the knowledge. So there are 6 pertinent questions that Arjuna is asking and Krishna is replying. So what is the importance of these particular 6 questions that Arjuna has asked? So the beginning of our spiritual life, uh, if you want to begin your spiritual life, you have to inquire like Arjuna has inquired about these important aspects, or you need to gain the knowledge in these areas. So that is what Arjuna is. He is also in a dilemma, like most of us are in dilemma in our life to make certain decisions in our life. He also was, since he is a sincere person, he went and taken the shelter of the Lord, and and he has taken the shelter of the Shastra in one way, also and he is posing the question to Krishna, seeking his guidance, and tell him what is, or instruct him what is best for him in his life. Uh, so that is what each one of us are in, that kind of a position. We are also in dilemma to find out what is best in our life, what we should do such that it can be helpful for us in our life. So that is what the Bhagavad Gita, the way Arjuna's dilemma, we are also in that kind of a dilemma in our life also. So many opinions have come to to Arjuna also, where what to do with respect to the battle, etc. And his mind itself has probably given lot of answers. And in fact, the first chapter, entire chapter is his mind speaking, Arjuna's mind speaking. And most of the time there is a lot of contradictions in our life also, and with the decisions that we wanted to take. And one of the best things that he has done is that he has submissively submitted to the Lord Krishna. So that is where we kind of got into and understood a lot of things. So I have we have with us Dr. Chalpati Rao Prabhuji and Dr. Bhavani Mataji. I welcome them to for, and I really thank them for giving their valuable time to our audience here. And I just wanted to introduce them quickly. So Chalpat Prabhu, Bhavani Mataji are there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam to all people who are attending the meeting.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Would you like to share your video, Prabhu, or is that what is your preference? Please, Mataji, if you are okay with that, I will stop my sharing of webcam. You can.
No, Prabhu, we would like to talk. We would like to talk.
Okay. So, but just a quick, I'm not qualified really to introduce this very senior devotee couples, and they are one of our very close associated devotees. I have learned a lot from them, and still learning from their ideal behavior and ideal Vaishnava etiquettes that they follow. So they both are initiated. By His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj has initiated them a long time back, and their initiated name Dr. Chalpati Rao Prabhu. He is a doctor by profession, and his initiated name is Chaitanya Keshav Prabhuji. And similarly, Dr. Bhavani Mataji. She's a children specialist, and her profession wise, and her initiated name is Barsana Rani Mataji. So I do not wanted to take lot of the time that they have come and giving. So I would give I would request them to speak something, whatever that comes to enlighten us. Thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, all Matajis and Prabhujis. And we thank Krishna Swami Prabhu for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts with all of you. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Nilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I welcome all the Matajis and Prabhujis, and actually we are only senior by age, so please excuse any mistakes if we make. Please excuse us, Prabhujis. So Actually, I thank Krishna Swami Prabhuji and all of you for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts and inspirations in Krishna consciousness. Let me tell you that all of you are so fortunate that you have been introduced to this wonderful society of Krishna consciousness, and by Krishna's mercy, all of you are enthusiastically participating in it. And please don't lose this enthusiasm. I wish that you should continue, because it is so beneficial as we are experiencing the benefits at this, ripe age. You may or may not acknowledge that it is due to some sukruti you have done knowingly or unknowingly, that Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani have showered their mercy upon all of you. Otherwise, it is not at all, it's not an easy thing to get attracted and so willingly participate in such programs as all of you are doing. And all of us should be extremely thankful and indebted to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of this great mission, that is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Nowadays, in this age of Kali, we are so self-centered and always thinking of I, me, mine, and we are always centered about ourselves. Actually, Prabhupada wanted to spread this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We, Jivas of Kali Yuga, are so self-centered and proud of our achievements that nobody thinks that there is a supreme hand behind this creation, under whose control everything is functioning in a regulated way. Actually, we take all these things for granted. We think what is there? I mean, everything is going on like that. We don't have time also to think how sun is rising so regularly in a regulated way, and the changing of 4 seasons, and even including our intelligence, which we think is ours, but that is also gifted by God. If God hadn't gifted us that, we would have been somewhere else. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually was born about 500 years back. He's an incarnation of Lord Krishna, according to even Shastras. In Bhagavatam also it is quoted that he is an incarnation of Lord Krishna, who is the Yuga avatar of this age, and who has actually insisted on chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to revive our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. He was compassionately distributing the holy name, and he predicted that chanting of the holy name will spread to every nook and corner of the world. And as he predicted, you can actually see how it is widely spreading all over the world, and how people are really, enjoying the bliss of it. Actually, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, who took the instruction from his spiritual master, that is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as his life and souls, to spread the holy name and to the Western world and print books. Actually, Prabhupada was endeavoring throughout his life without getting disheartened and without despair, and he was fully dependent on Krishna in spite of all the hardships he had to face to fulfill the desire of this spiritual master. And finally, in the ripened age of 70 years, he could finally go to the Western countries, and in spite of so many impediments like his age and climate in the Western countries, which was not at all suitable to him, and there was no financial support at all, and he only banked on Krishna's mercy. And ultimately, he emerged very successful in changing the heart of Westerners, who succumbed to his compassion and love for them. This was what they were longing for. They had actually, Westerners, they are not short of anything. They have all the facilities, they have wealth, but still they were always in despair and dissatisfaction. But Prabhupada gave them what they wanted and what they liked. So they were fully dedicated, and they did everything they could do to help Prabhupada, who had given them what they wanted. So they and they helped him a lot in making this mission a very successful, and it is how that started there. And the speciality of this mission is that we need not, actually in all spiritual missions, what happens, they say you should give up this, you should give up that, you should go to a secluded place and meditate, etc. But actually in this mission, you need not give up your material life, but only you should change your, you should withdraw yourself from activities which are not in favor for, which are not conducive for bhakti. So, and actually you need not give up all these modern equipments also. You can use them in enhancing bhakti and for transmitting the mission. And only thing what you have to follow here is 4 regulative principles and chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which enables us to control our mind. The mind, which is the greatest enemy, if you don't control it. If you control it, it's your greatest friend. And when your mind is under your control, actually you can discriminate what is wrong and what is right, which is the need of the moment. Because now we are so much submissive to our mind, which drags us in all ways which are really, detrimental to us. So when we discriminate what is right and wrong, we don't become victims of lust, greed, and anger, which are the 3 gates to hell. Actually, what is lust? Lust is a desire for wanting things which you are not entitled for. Like you, even if you're not entitled, you feel that you want it. And when you get it by, working hard or some way, then you want more and more. And so there is no end to that desire. And when you don't achieve that, you become angry, and ultimately your mind is not under your control, and your everything is disturbed. You're not satisfied in spite of earning so much, and or that is what is happening right now in the current yuga, current society. And actually, by chanting this Maha Mantra, we revive our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord, and that is, He is our Supreme Father, and we are His eternal servants. When we acknowledge the supremacy of the Lord, we come out of the impression that Lord. Actually, we go. Generally, what we do, many of us, we go to temples just to ask Him for something, and then if we say that He fulfills our desire, oh, we break so many number of coconuts, or we give him so much of money, or that was what we taught from our childhood. But actually, that is not the real thing. Prabhupada taught us how to love God as a person, like how you love your parent. And when you love your parent, you really, you fully believe that your parents are your greatest caretakers, and whatever they do, you you don't doubt them. So similarly, you should develop the same relationship with the Supreme Lord. Then when you develop that relationship, you trust Him, and whatever comes in your life, you accept it as His wish, and He is doing what is best for us. And you're actually, if things work in your way, or if they don't work in your way also, you will not be so perturbed when you develop this trust. So and you have the same feeling as a child holds his parents' hand while walking, and in spite of all the traffic, he is not anxious, because somebody is there to take care of him. So we all, we want you also to experience the same thing what we are experiencing. Actually, we we are into this from maybe about 9 years, but you are all youngsters. I think you'll be more blissful than us, because you come at an earlier age. Yeah, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to speak. And we wish you all the best, and we wish that you should continue in this mission, and then serve this mission and enjoy the bliss of this mission. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. We from core of our heart, we really thank you for giving your time, and Prabhuji also for giving his time. So thanks a lot, Mataji. One other thing I wanted to share with all of the devotees who are assembled here, that especially Mataji's, if they have any queries that you wanted to speak to somebody who is senior, whether it is your for you to progress in your spiritual life, if there are any hindrances, but that could be associated with your grosthashrama or in general, whatever. So Matajis can take the help of Bhavani Mataji, Dr. Bhavani Mataji, her Barsani Rani Mataji, her initiated name. So I will provide Mataji, if that is that okay, if I can give your number, Mataji?
Yeah, surely, Prabhu. They are most welcome. If they want to clear any of their doubts, they're most welcome. You can give them my number, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Mataji. And Chaitanya Keshav Prabhu also will be there with us, and if anybody wanted to seek his guidance and mentoring, especially because they are so much experienced and they do sevas is unimaginable. Nobody would really can go any closer to the kind of seva that they do. At least I cannot imagine that I would be able to do so much seva what they are doing. So I once again thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji, for giving us this opportunity. So anybody has any questions that you wanted to ask right now, please go ahead to ask Mataji or Prabhuji. Yeah. Anybody, if you have, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji, for the beautiful message you have shared with us. We'll try to follow whatever you have given this message. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. I wish all of you should continue, because it's really a treasure which all of us have received by God's grace. And
Sure, Mataji.
yeah, we should benefit it, and we should share this benefit to others, with others also. When we experience it, we feel like sharing it with others.
Thank you, Mataji.
Beautiful message. Sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Anyone else has any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji, thanks for joining and making our class very special. And first out, I think I could definitely feel that vibrations in your voice and the sadhana practice. What do you say? Because we're just beginning, and it definitely gives a lot of motivation. Saying somebody practicing this from 9 years successfully, and able to spread that kind of consciousness what we're looking at. So one question which keeps striking my mind, of course, is we are doing the professional life and we are doing this spiritual kind of journey also. So the biggest hindrance what comes to our life is when you go hit the professional life, you trying to get that disbalance because of various factors. So how you could maintain that kind of a balance between both of them and still continue this journey? So I think in the interest of everybody, I'm asking that.
Prabhu, actually, now supposing a mother has a baby, like at any cost, she will do the work which has to be done for the little baby. Foregoing all the other activities. So when you give that priority to Krishna consciousness, I think we can slowly make time. We take it as first priority.
Yeah, that's what when I was practicing this, the kind of an attraction this has, you tend to lose the attraction towards everything. So
yes,
even that's what my inclination towards this is going so much that I'm feeling now, how do I balance both? Because this attracts me more.
24 hours in a day.
No, but actually you can ask Krishna. He will empower you to balance between both.
Yes, Madam. Yeah, I'm trying to establish that kind of a relationship where he starts answering me. So certainly I'll increase my sadhana.
So Santosh Prabhuji, whatever experience you have, you can share something with me, because my attachment is still there. I am not able to overcome the material attachment. So you are really in a good position, but well utilized whatever opportunity you have. And yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing. Yes. Okay. Is there anything else? If not, we will start our class. And once again, thank to all this lovely couple. And thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji, for giving us your association. So thank you.
Hello, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, and please excuse us because this is the first time. I mean, we do physical services, but speaking actually we have some inhibitions. We are not so free, but please excuse us if we have committed any, mistakes.
No,
And
Mataji. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable thoughts and enlightening all of us. Thank you, Prabhuji, Mataji, once again. And
Hare
I'll
Krishna
share
Prabhu.
their number. I'll share your number, Mataji, and please
I'm
help
sure.
all of us. Thank you,
Good.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for giving us this opportunity. I will share my experiences next time. How I came to ISKCON and how I am progressing
Prabhuji,
slowly.
can you, we do not want to postpone, Prabhu, but if you can kindly share your thoughts also, please. I'm sorry. I couldn't
Oh,
ask.
no,
Please.
no. Better I speak next time, Prabhu. You
Okay.
will not have time for the class, Prabhu. Next time,
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you,
definitely
Prabhuji. Yes, yes.
share
Thank you, Prabhu.
how I came to ISKCON and how I am progressing and how I am taking lot of bliss out of this and how I am finding time to do my bhakti as well as my professional work. Now
Yes,
at 67 years, still I am even during Corona time, by the grace of Krishna and by the willpower given by him, still I am going to the hospital and working. So I want to help the population with my service. And if I can help some of the people who are coming to your this class, I'm very grateful to them. If they take any guidance or help from me as a doctor as well as a devotee. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Next
Hare
time I
Krishna,
will tell you my experience.
Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhu. Dandavat.
sorry for the short
Hare
notice,
Krishna.
Prabhuji Mataji. I did not give any time. Just you accepted
Uh,
this. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Dandavat.
Dhanavad.
Dandavat pranams to all devotees who are attending the class.
Hare
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 Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so
Wish
much
you
for your
good luck
beautiful
to
message.
everybody. Yeah.
Dhanyavad Pranam. Prabhuji, we would definitely love to hear from you again. It's an exclusive class for you, Prabhu.
Oh, Prabhu,
Thank you, Prabhu.
definitely, Prabhu. Sure. Prabhu,
Thank
we
you.
exit. Prabhu, we leave the meeting.
Yes,
We
Prabhu.
leave the
Yes.
meeting with your permission.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानान्दनशलाकया चक्षुरुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं तत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणां परमानन्दमाधवम्। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for attending for this class today. And we are very fortunate to have senior Vaishnavas who have come and helped us to identify what is our true life goal should be and how we should pursue our spiritual sadhana. So let me quickly see where we are. Okay, 1 second. Okay, right. So just to summarize one more time where we are in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, which talks about the nature, the enjoyer and the consciousness. So acronymed with wise, W stands for wise questions that Arjuna has asked. And what are the questions that Arjuna has asked? Can somebody recollect quickly? What are the questions that Arjuna has asked?
Prabhuji.
Your
Wise
voice,
questions
Mataji, your
that
voice is breaking. Mataji, your voice is breaking.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. So the wise questions that were asked, I know that most of you have got the answer. Arjuna asked Krishna the following questions. What is Prakriti? What is this nature? So that is the first question Arjuna asked. Purusha, the enjoyer. Who is the ultimate enjoyer? He also asked that. Kshetra, the field of activities that you do. As is a so what are the field of activities? And Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Who is the knower of the field? And Gnanam, the knowledge and the process of gaining that knowledge. What is that? Gnanam is asking. Now, and the last one, he talks about Gnayam, the object of the knowledge. What should be the object of that knowledge that I am gaining? So beautiful questions. And the importance of asking these questions is that so each one of us, if you see, we have some knowledge about things after we taken this birth, but these questions are really qualified in quote unquote saying that if you know the answers for these particular questions, then you are having knowledge. Other than this, whatever you are having is all ignorance, or it will not really be helpful in your life. So it is avidya. It is called avidya. So this is vidya. So which is the answers of whatever we Krishna is going to give. If you carefully understand and not just inquire about these particular questions, but at the same time pursue to find the answers and apply in your life, that is where transformation will come. And you are really filling your spiritual quotient. So if you can fill your spiritual quotient, or whatever level you can do in this life, you do, and this will be going carry forward to your next life. And it will be easy for you to go back to the spiritual world. So so that is how Krishna's and Arjuna's questions have really been torch bearers for all of us to gain the knowledge in those areas. Okay, so it is said that the position of all of us is like we are thirsty. It is like a person who is thirsty for water. So we are also thirsty for knowledge. The knowledge that will come when you are inquiring about these questions. So and when you inquire about these questions, the answers that you are going to get from the authority. And how can you get it from the authority? When you submissively inquire about these particular questions, then only this knowledge is going to come to you. Submissive inquiry is what is expected from all of us to gain this knowledge. Okay, and so Krishna explains the field of activity is this body. So he says that the field of activities is this body, and Purusha, the enjoyer, is the knower of the field of the activity. So that is what we need to know. Who is that knower? We have seen that soul and super soul is there, and we will go to that, quickly revise that also. And we have seen that when we dwell in this power, it is when we dwell in the, so there is somebody who is living in this body. And Srila Prabhupada nicely gives an example of, you live in some house, right? Whatever kind of house you have, based on your capacity, you live in that kind of a house. Maybe it is a duplex, or a flat, or an individual house, or whichever location, you'll dwell in some house. But at one point of time, you have to leave that house. You cannot permanently be there. So similarly, leaving that house is similar to having a death. But again, you are leaving the house doesn't mean that you will be occupying some other house, right? So similar analogy Srila Prabhupada gives, that you are taken this body now, and you will stay here for some time. And after when the house is not in a position to be uh, uh, you can be stay there for anymore, and you change your body and go to some other body. So in this process, there is no bewilderment for the person who have this knowledge. Very important. So it is very pertinent question that we need to understand this. And for a person who knows this knowledge, he is dhira. Dhira means he is not afraid. Death is also like changing the house, changing the body. So why am I really going to be bothered about it? So that is the reason why when people gain this knowledge, they are not bothered about dying. So you leave this body, and but you need to have this knowledge, and then when you leave, then you can really not bothered with death, or taking some other body. Better take a body which will not come back to this life of what do you say, cycle of life and death. So go to a place where there is no Vaikunta. The word Vaikunta means where there is no misery. Vaikunta, kunta means misery. Vaikunta means the place where there is no misery. So what kind of miseries we have in this particular world? We have seen that in the past. Can somebody recollect what kind of miseries we have in this material world? Anybody?
Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika.
Right. So Adi Atmika. So the misery is caused by one's own body and mind, like mental distress, anxiety, and the disease, and you diseases, especially when you are at a old age. That's a totally different ball game. I see in my own mother. So I see myself also, like a lot of diseases, lot of anxieties. So that is what you will have in this material world. Adi Atmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhautika. Adi Bhautika is misery is caused by other living entities, like insects, or insults from others, dis, dishonor by others, that they do for you, and from mosquitoes, snakes, or other competitive things that are coming against you. So all these things are really miseries in the this life. And you know that there is Adi Daivika, the higher some things that are higher power in of nature, which causes some miseries, such as lot of heat, lot of cold, lot of floods, earthquakes, so many things, right? So these are some of the things that you have to face. So it all starts with saying that you need to ask yourself, why so many miseries are there in this world? Is there any way that I can go to a place where there are no miseries? And you are not doing it just because you wanted to enjoy yourself there, but your real position is to serve. So serve the Supreme Lord. So if you have that kind of a mindset and cultivate that kind of qualities that are required, so then you can transcend from this material world and then go to the spiritual world, right? For a self-realized soul, the death is like a change of body only. So we are simply having a temporary residency in this body. And so who is the controller of the Purusha? The supreme controller is what is the proprietor for all what you see in this nature. That includes our bodies, and also all the nature, whatever you have. This is all, he is the proprietor. So this is what we have seen in the second chapter, I think, right? No, but the knowledge of the absolute. In that we have discussed about these things. Who is the supreme controller? And does somebody remember the sloka? Dehinosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvananjara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyate. So here what Krishna is saying is that you are changing from one body to another body, and your body itself has changed from your childhood to whatever you are now. And in scientific also it is told that your body is changing, is changed, completely changed. Your cells are completely changed for every 5 years or something like that. So your body is always changing, but finally when it is not of no use for you, you change and take another body. So, and one other thing about Krishna also explains that aham sarvasva prabhaho, in that sloka he is also saying that aham bija pita. So he is saying that I am the person who is there in each and every living entity. Aham bija pita. So he is saying that I am that, I impregnate into every living entity, so they can come into existence. Somebody, Mallikarjun Prabhu and others also previously inquired that okay, there is soul and also the super soul. So when the super soul is there, then you come into existence. See, it is like your father is there and he impregnates semen into the mother, and some other entity, entity comes into existence because he is the seed giving father. Similarly, when Krishna is coming as a super soul in that particular entity, then it comes into existence. So we all are souls, and we take some body, but unless and until the Supreme Lord impregnates into that particular body, then only it comes into existence. So don't think that I am an individual by myself. Always, unless until Supreme Lord, the super soul is there, or he impregnates into the living entity, it cannot take into existence. Now you may ask yourself, now if we were born by just by union of a mother, a male and a female, okay, why is that till now, till date, not a single scientist could create a living being in a laboratory? In a laboratory, you take, if you are made up of chemicals and it is just a mechanical way of getting in offspring, then why don't you create a mosquito in the scientific laboratory? Nobody could have done this, and nobody can be able to do it, because unless and until you have the supreme personality, that is the super soul, coming and impregnating into that particular living being, it cannot it cannot come into existence. So Krishna is the force, he is the source of our life, and when he impregnates in this material existence, then you come across like you have 8,400,000 variety of species that are formed in the material world. So it is 8.4 lakhs different varieties of species have formed. And why so many different varieties of species are there? Can somebody tell me why so many? 8.4 lakhs, out of which 4 lakhs is human species only.
Basically, Prabhuji, as it in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you feel at the last, whatever you desire, you take that kind of a birth. Because people have so many kind of desires,
Prabhuji,
ultimately
your
they speak.
background noise is there, Prabhu. We cannot hear you.
Acha, is it audible now, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it's better now, but still there is background noise. I cannot really, because my audio volume is too high. So whatever is there in the
Okay.
background, it amplifies.
Okay. Now it is okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, it's better now. Yes, it's good.
So what I'm saying is because of the different desires people have, they take the birth depending upon their desires. So ultimately, because of various desires and all, these kind of species have came into existence.
Absolutely, Prabhu. So the Lord has created so many different varieties. How many varieties? 8.4 lakhs, but different types of species. Because you wanted a particular way of enjoyment and a particular way of suffering. So both you have to have that kind of a combination such that your desire can be fulfilled. Ultimately, it is your Krishna, since you have asked for that, though Krishna doesn't want you to go to the material world and experience that suffering and enjoying the way you wanted. He wanted you to come back to Goloka and be with him. But still, you are like adamant. No, I wanted it. It is like a child asking a father that, Papa, I need a chocolate. I need a Cadbury chocolate, and his teeth are already spoiled, but still he wants to eat some chocolate. Then he's so adamant, and he's now not even able to hear your advice. Then what we can do? Then similarly, a father will give you the money and say that, okay, you go now, take. But finally, you have used your free will, whatever is there, and you have come to this existence, and it is your free will take you back again to Krishna once you submit yourself. That is what Krishna is saying. So all these lower species, whatever is there, they have their natural instinct by which they can do whatever activity they are doing, and there is a natural progression for them to come and take the uh, 1 second. So they can take the human form at the end. But for us, there is a danger that once you goof up, not doing the right thing in this human form of life, then you will fall back to the lower species. And this lower species could be that any of these 4 lakh human species also, where you, based on your desire and your suffering that you wanted to get associated with that, you take a human form. Again, you may take any of the 400 species which is not going to help you, but since you have desired it, you will get it based on your karma also, right? So the human form of life starts by making an inquiry about some of the questions like this, right? Some of the questions what Arjuna is asking what, who am I, what is this body, and who is living in this body, and who is the God, the person who is controlling everything, and what is my relationship with that particular entity. So these are some of the pertinent questions that Arjuna is asking. But what is happening is that, as Santosh Prabhu rightly mentioned, at one point in time when Barsana Mataji was asking, uh, so so basically, you see, the Srila Prabhupada nicely gives an example of a scientist and a boatman. They are traveling, and the boatman is rowing the boat in the river. And now the scientist asks the boatman, "But do you know what is oceanography?" Then this boatman say, "I am a person who has not got so much education. So where I'll know about oceanography?" Then he asks, "Do you?" So he says that 20% of your life is wasted because you don't know oceanography. Then he asks, "Do you know geography?" Then he says that, "No, I don't know." Then he says that 20% of your life is still gone. So 40% is gone. "And do you know astronomy?" Then he says that, "No, I don't know astronomy." Oh, so 80% of your life is gone. So now he is so sad, and he asks, "What is this? The scientist is saying my life is nothing, and I wasted my life." Now the boat, he's rowing the boat, and there is a storm, and the boat cannot go further, and there is a possibility that now the boat has to you can't save unless and until you go jump into the water and then go to the other end. So now the boatman asked the scientist, sir, do you know how to swim? Then the scientist says that, no, I don't know how to swim. Then the boatman says that, sir, you have wasted 100% of your life. If you don't know how to swim, you are not going to live. So then he jumps and he goes to the other end, and this person perishes. So this story trying to help us to identify what is that you wanted to pursue in your life. What is knowledge? So the questions that are posed here are the things that you need to pursue and find answers, and accordingly you need to lead your life accordingly with that knowledge. Anything beyond this, Krishna is saying that this is all ignorance, right? Whatever you might have gained knowledge about other things is not going to help you to come out of this cycle of birth and death. So it is all ignorance only. So that kind of a knowledge which will really help you is what we wanted. And so that is what we wanted to. This is what we have discussed about the first part of the section. W means wise questions, and how it is going to help us. And the items of knowledge, we discussed that we need to know that there is something called the kshetrajna, the spirit soul, and there is called kshetra, which is the body. And we need to when you basically when you know but that there is a distinction between the soul and the body, when you start getting that distinction, that is where you are cultivating the jnana or knowledge is coming to you. This is the real knowledge. Okay, so that is what, this is how you can start cultivating that knowledge. Okay, and this knowledge is revealed to the deserving person only. That is what, and the first and foremost quality one should have. Can somebody remember what is the first and foremost quality one should have to cultivate this knowledge?
Guruji, to have bona fide spiritual master.
And
Humility.
yes, so bona fide spiritual master is also required. At the same time, first and foremost thing, you start with being humble. So humility is what you need to cultivate. So that is what you need to know, right? So anything, see, when you go to a temple, any ISKCON temple, you kind of submit yourself. How you submit yourself? Doing Dandavat Pranam. That means you become humble, and when you do Dandavat Pranam, that means I am your servant. I have submitted, not Dandavat. That means complete surrender. So that is what you do. When you do Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so the way you do is that basically when you do Kirtan and other places, you raise your hands. You see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu always doing chanting with raising their hands. That means I have submitted. I have submitted to the Supreme Lord. I am so that kind of a consciousness is what one has to build. So that is where the change of heart will happen. Because we have deep rooted vasanas, which is we are identifying ourselves only with body. So that deep rooted thing has to come out. Then as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Davagni Nirvapanam. So when you take the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is the medicine, and that medicine will deliver you. Not only it will remove all the anarthas that is there, which is there in your body, but at the same time that is the way or means by which you can get delivered to the Goloka. So that is it is as a byproduct, anarthas are getting removed. No, it is not the primary intention of taking Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Anarthas are as a byproduct, it is going away. But what you will be identifying yourself, and you will get the right kind of a knowledge, Vidya you will get, and you will be able to go to the Goloka. Automatically these things will happen. And this is what our previous acharyas have given us, and this is what all the parampara sadhus have given us, and we need to follow their footsteps. Okay, and this the third section talks about soul and super soul, and the purpose of knowledge is to realize that soul and the super soul, who are eternally individual but at the same time intimately connected. So that is how your super soul is connected with your soul. That is what you need to realize. And when you come to the platform of the spiritual plane, so we have seen that different koshas are there, out of which Vijnanamaya kosha and Anandamaya kosha. So that is where, when you come to that Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya kosha, the realized knowledge will put you into Vijnanamaya kosha. When you are there, then you will be able to see that who is who I'm really I am, and I am the spirit soul, and there is a super soul also. So that realization will come once you follow this process of Krishna consciousness, being in the right association, reading the right kind of books, and chanting the holy name is very important, and taking the Krishna prasad. So these four things, if you follow, things will naturally you are in Krishna consciousness, and you will be able to progress in your spiritual path. So today we are going to discuss about the last part of the section, which is called enjoyer. So the chapter concludes with the description of the final two terms, Prakriti and Purusha. So what is Prakriti? What is Purusha? So that is what we will be discussing in great detail, and Krishna will be elaborating on that. The conditioned soul desires to control and enjoy matter. This is called Prakriti. He wants to control and enjoy the matter. And it is this enjoying spirit that binds him to this material world. So once you come out of this enjoyer mentality or a controller mentality, then that is where you can you will be able to unbind yourself from this material world. So the beautiful examples always we talk about is the lotus flower. So be in this world if you want, if you are destined to come here, okay, but how you need to act in this world? It is like a lotus flower where you are there, but the dirt, neither the dirt nor the water is going to stick to you. So be like that. So that is what. But it doesn't mean that you totally give up and become go into a secluded place and away. That is not what Krishna has recommended. Krishna is saying that be in the world, do your duty, but at the same time, don't forget your ultimate purpose. That is what he is talking about. The super soul, however, is the actual enjoyer, Purusha. And everything, material nature and the individual souls, is ultimately meant for his enjoyment. So that is what you need to understand. Okay, so how can you satisfy the Purusha, the enjoyer, is what the other question comes to you. Like, so yes, I know that I am also part of the Prakriti, and now I am supposed to be ultimately I am supposed to give enjoyment to the Supreme Lord with my whatever I am, but how to do that? So that's what Krishna is going to elaborate in the next sections and next chapters also. Just as pouring water over the root of the tree energizes the trunk, branches and twigs, similarly offering worship and service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pleasure and satisfaction automatically brings satisfaction to all the living entities, including yourself. Now, one question generally is posed saying that, okay, if all the time the Supreme Controller and the Supreme Enjoyer is Lord Krishna, then are we not bereft of that enjoyment? Because you are not really enjoying. You are saying that only Krishna is going to be the enjoyer. No, that is not what Krishna is meant here. At the same time, your enjoyment lies with the enjoyment of the others. When you render service, because by constitutional position of yours is to render service. You see that by nature we are always doing service, whether you are as a father of the head of the family, or you are a mother who is taking care of the house, or any other activity, or any other person per se, he is always rendering service. Just think about whatever activities you are doing service only. Maybe in that process of service you might be getting some things for your own selfish needs, or not, is not the concern, but by nature you are only doing service. But now what Krishna is saying is that instead of doing service to this all the whatever you are doing, so dovetail your services and dovetail it to me. So that is what he is saying. And when you dovetail all the services, whatever you are going to do towards Krishna, then you will really get that happiness, that real happiness, which is what you are longing for so many lifetimes. So that is what he's given the example of pouring water to the root of the tree, which energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, etc. Similarly, when you worship and do service to the Supreme Lord, so it gives pleasure and satisfaction automatically to him, as well as it brings satisfaction to all the living entities, including yourself. So that is what he is talking about. Okay, any doubts so far?
Prabhuji,
Go ahead, Prabhu.
this human form, how it will take into animal this thing, animal life? Because in the human form has its own seed. Animals has its own seed. Because mango seed gives mango only, or
Okay.
pomegranate seed gives pomegranate only. So
Okay.
how this human
Okay. So
take another?
there is okay, good, Prabhu. Very nice question. So you see, Prabhu, there is no particular seed called human seed, this seed or that seed. What happens is that you just understand that these are different bodies. How many different types of bodies are there, species are there, is 8.4 lakh species are there, different types of bodies. Okay, there are different types of body, and what kind of a, which kind of a body you are going to get is decided based on your personal desires. And so based on your personal desires, you can see, suppose I have a desire to eat meat only, non-veg meat only. So if I have that kind of a desire, only that, nothing else, I do not want to eat grass, I do not want to eat vegetables. Suppose I'm just giving an example, I wanted to eat only meat. So if you are having that kind of a desire, then what will happen is that you may take a human form of life. If you take a human form of life also, you will be going to a place, or you will be going to an environment where that place is predominantly where you will get only meat to eat. That is one thing. Okay, so you go to any western countries, like other cold countries, where there is no, you cannot think about any vegetation there, any vegetables there. Only thing is that the meat will be there, so you have to eat that meat. That is where you will get a body which is like a human kind of a body. But why you are getting that body? Based on your needs. Suppose you can also take a body of a tiger, and that tiger will eat only flesh, and you will just be doing that. So it all depends upon the kind of desires that you have. So it is nothing to do with your general conception that if a father is there, a mother is there, a semen is going into that mother. This is just a process that is there, right? But ultimately, as I told you, if you have to give rise to a particular child, that child who is going, you are going to get, is decided not by mother and father. It is decided by the desires of unlimited, who the number of souls whatever there. So one of them will come into that, and along with that, when the super soul also comes there, then they come into existence, or that entity will come into existence. Okay, so it is nothing to do with your semen, whatever you're talking about, those kind of things. Okay, does it make sense, Malikarjun Prabhu?
Prabhu, but humans only have desires. They want to
No, how
become
can
rich.
you?
They want
No,
to become
Prabhu.
poor. That's
No,
all.
no, no, no,
Prabhu.
no, Prabhu, how can you say that? Did you take a animal body and find out whether they have desires or not? So they also have whatever desire. But what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita is that these other 8 lakh species, which are the lower form of the species, 8 lakhs which are there, they have natural progression. That means progression to go to the next level, and finally they can get the human form. But you got it. So the karma concept doesn't apply there. But they whatever there also 8 lakhs are there. So they keep going from one form to another form, whatever naturally. And when they come to the human form, or take the human form of life, after going through so many cycles, see, if you have, then you can get a human form. Once you get a human form, again based on your karma concept kicks in here. So based on the kind of karma that you are going to do, then you can be in that particular human form of life in the 8 lakhs category, or you can leave this entire 8 lakh species of material bodies and go back to Goloka. It is your choice. But if you do something which is detrimental, where your desires and wants and the things are like which is not catering but to satisfy those desires in the human form of life, you will go to some other species which will satisfy your desires. Like suppose
Prabhuji,
you go ahead, Mataji.
sorry for the interruption, Prabhuji. This regarding the Mallikarjunji answer, because for example, we find very many times snakes, if unnecessary you disturb them, they will definitely will try to trace you and make the revenge. And recently I have gone through one WhatsApp this thing. One Goshala somebody removed, and that Gomata every day that she will recognize the car and she will follow him. What I mean to say, every creature will have the desire. Thank you.
Okay, so for finally, Prabhuji, the thing is that let us focus on what is really knowledge. What is really knowledge is that you, in a crisp way, if you want to ask me, you need to know that who you are. If you know the answer what Krishna is saying very clearly is that you are eternal servant of Krishna, or you need to do service to the Supreme Lord. If you can do that, you will be able to get an opportunity where you will not come to this material life and death kind of thing, and you will also gain the required knowledge when you do the Krishna consciousness process, if you follow, which is reading, getting the right association, reading the right kind of books, because you need to have the jnana knowledge, and realized knowledge also you need. So when you put it into practice, chanting the holy name and taking the Krishna prasad, so if you can take care of doing these activities, automatically whatever knowledge you are supposed to get, you will get, and you yourself will come to realize that. So not me saying or somebody else saying. Okay, so going forward here, Lord Krishna explains what is Prakriti and Purusha and their union. So that is what we'll be seeing now. And before we go there, just wanted to reiterate what we have discussed in the knowledge of the absolute 7.6. Okay, and to just to clarify what Mallikarjun Prabhu is always been asking, the soul and super soul kind of thing. And if you see Krishna's energy, uh, we have seen that there is Antaringaka Shakti, the internal potency, and which is a superior potency what is there. So this will give rise to the spiritual dham, the spiritual world which is there is coming from his internal potency or superior potency. Okay, and so you Krishna, whatever the knowledge Krishna knows about himself, Krishna knows about everyone, living entity can know about themselves only. So this is the knowledge chit part, the Sat Chit Ananda, the three things it is divided, and the knowledge part of it is coming from the superior energy only. And the Ananda, the bliss, pleasure potency is coming from this superior energy only. Okay. So the Krishna and the Jiva gets the transcendental bliss from this particular part of the Antaringaka Shakti of the Lord. See, I told you there is a distinction between the material plane and the spiritual plane, right? The koshas that we are talking about. So this part is coming under the spiritual plane, which is that kosha where the Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. So these two come under the spiritual platform, and that is what we discuss. And actually the soul, the happiness we are talking about is coming from the superior energy, but actually the soul, if you see here, is Tatastha Shakti, so the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. But from there all these jivas are coming into existence. It is also a superior energy, but again it is coming from the Tatastha, that marginal energy. So all these souls who are coming from this from Krishna only, but they are coming from the Tatastha Shakti. Okay. And now the Bahiranga Shakti, the external but again inferior energy of the Supreme Lord, the material world is formed. And all the gross elements that you see, our body is also made of those gross elements, and the world which is you see is also made up of gross elements, and the subtle body which is coming is also coming under the external energy of the Supreme Lord, but again it is more to do with the material world. So now the section 13 we talked about the Krishna answering those two questions, Prakriti and Purusha, and Gnana Chakshusha. So what kind of a vision of knowledge one should have is what? So what kind of vision one should have to gain that knowledge? The Gnana Chakshusha is what Krishna is going to talk about. Okay. So Prakriti, Purusha, the Jiva are Kshetrajna, and their union. Material nature causes all material changes and effects, and the living entity meets with good and bad according to the qualities that he has acquired due to his association with the material nature. So very clearly it is mentioned here. And the living entity meets with good and bad according to the qualities that he has acquired due to his association with the material nature. So the way you associate with the material nature, and the way you associate with the material nature, meaning that the way you associate with your body also. How do you think, what is this body? How did you associate this body? What kind of services you have done with this body? Body meaning your gross body as well as your subtle body. What kind of a mind you have? What kind of intelligence that you have? What kind of an ego you have? So this is all your body only, right? It's a material body. So how you have utilized it? So what kind of an association you have given this body with? If you have associated with the Supreme Lord, so then you will get those qualities, right? So if you can associate only with the matter, and you have never done anything to the other koshas, the Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha, you never came to the spiritual platform, you never knew what is soul, what is super soul, and you've not rendered any services but towards that, then you will be not getting benefited, right? So Paramatma Purusha Kshetrajna, the super soul exists within all bodies as the overseer, the permitter, and the supreme proprietor. So what in the Kshetrajna, that means apart from your soul there is something called super soul which exists within all the bodies. And what is that this super soul do? He oversees. He is like seeing all the time. He knows what is happening. What are you doing? You may think that nobody is seeing. It is so dark now, who can see? And nobody is around. Whatever I do, but again, Supreme Lord is there within your heart, and he is the person who is overseeing it, and he is the person who is permitter also. He is doing so if you wanted to do certain activity, one second, Prabhu, I have to take this call. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I am in the class, Prabhuji. I am taking that Bhagavad Gita class. Yes, Prabhu. After 6, I will call you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So that is what the super soul is going to do. And the result who he is talking about in the 24th sloka, one who understands Prakriti, the Kshetra, Purusha, Kshetrajna, and Jiva, Kshetra Jiva. So basically Kshetrajna, There is Kshetrajna Jiva and Kshetrajna Supreme Super Soul. So there are two entities there. Kshetrajna means it's not just Jivatma, it is Paramatma also is there. So both, as I told you, it is like compare the example given in the Bhagavatam is two parrots sitting on the same branch. One is overseeing permitter and he is the supreme proprietor, and there is one who is doing doer, who is doing. So that is Jivatma. Okay, and their interaction attains liberation and doesn't take his birth again in the material world. So when you can interact, the soul can interact with the supreme soul. If you can start doing activities where you can know about it and again do certain things with that consciousness, then there is no repeated birth and death for you. So that is what Krishna is assuring you. Other methods of obtaining liberation are Jnana, Ashtanga and Karma. But again, whether it is easy to do that, we have seen that it is not easy at all. If you want talking about Ashtanga Yoga, you have to do so many things like sitting in a certain position, and you need to go to a secluded place, and you have to focus your mind in such a way that you are keeping other things away, and you need to do certain you need to follow certain niyama, and it is so difficult that you can do it in this particular yoga. And same with Jnana, if you wanted to do, it is very dangerous, because finally with Jnana you might get bewildered, and you might go into a wrong track also, unless until there is a person who is going to guide you all the time. So other ways like Karma Yoga, we know that. But again, out of all the options, Krishna is saying that the best option is Bhakti Yoga, which wherein you do a loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. If you can do that, and if there is a person, a guide, a guru who is helping you, like Srila Prabhupada, who has given us the process, not that he has given the process on his own, but which has come from the Guru Parampara. If you can follow that, you should be able to get liberated. And liberated meaning you need not come back to this material world, you can go back to Goloka. So where there is it is called Vaikunta, where there are no miseries. So no miseries which pertains to the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, or with the three miseries that we have, which is Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika and Adhyatmika. These miseries are also not there. So here Prakrutim Purusham Chaiva. So in this particular sloka, the material nature and the living entity should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformation and modes of matter are product of material nature. So that is what Krishna is saying, that we are beginningless. That means we are also eternal, and Supreme Lord also is eternal. Okay. So that is what we discussed last time. Okay, material nature and the living entities are eternal, and the characteristics are that if you see, both living entity and the material nature are eternal. Material nature is eternal, although specific manifestation of matter are temporary. So material nature is eternal, although specific manifestation are temporary. Suppose whatever you see here in this particular world, all this will come to a halt once, and this entire after this yuga is completed, the Kali Yuga, everything will be destroyed, and then we go back to the Satya Yuga again. So all this will be so that's what is there in our Shastra, and this has been going on for so many lifetimes, not lifetimes, so many lakhs of yugas have passed like this. So nobody knows when it started and when it will. It's not going to end. That's what he's saying. But it's temporary manifestation. Living entity is eternal because of being the Lord's superior energy. So we are part of the Lord's superior energy. So we are also eternal. So difference is that in material nature there is a constant transformation, whereas the nature of the living entity is non-changing. So that is what it is. So we are soul, and will remain as the soul only, and there is no transformation for this particular soul. So this is always remains constant. So mystery of the material creation is that material nature is absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Mahavishnu, and whenever required it is manifested to the Mahatattva. So we have seen that after the 4 yugas are over, the entire material creation, whatever is there, goes back to the Mahavishnu, and again if it has to come to existence again, Mahat Tattva. So the another form of Vishnu will come into picture, and he will impregnate. Again, it is Krishna's manifestation only, and he will impregnate into the material universe, so that it comes into existence, and later on whichever jiva has to come into the material existence, so he will impregnate into those living entities, and they'll, as per their desires, those kind of bodies will be given, and they will be able to enjoy and suffer in that particular bodies. But again, with the coming of the material nature, they are given a chance to prepare to go back to Godhead. So again, this is like a jail for us. Like if we have made some mistake, so you are put in a jail, and in that jail, you are given certain reformatory activities, such that you can come back and be in your mainstream. Mainstream meaning where you originally belong to. Jail is only temporary setup. So what is that reformatory activities? Taking up to Krishna consciousness is the reformatory activities one should take up, and then once you follow it, and there is a mercy of the Supreme Lord, then you can go back to back to your original where you belong to, that is Supreme Lord's abode. Why the eternal living entity falls down to the material world? Due to rebellious nature. One is rebellious nature, but other reason is that it is really does not matter how we came into the contact with the matter. The Supreme Lord knows how and why this took place. So basically rebellious nature meaning, one is rebellious nature, but for main important thing is that you desire to come out of that relationship what you had with the Supreme Lord, and you wanted to separately enjoy. So that is the reason why you fell down into this material world. Okay. What does the Lord focus on in the scriptures? The living entity attracted by the material nature is undergoing a hard struggle from the material existence. Okay. So what does the Lord focus on in the scriptures? So he is trying to tell you what is your real position. What is this material world? Why it has been created? And what kind of a consciousness one should build? That is what one of the in the title it is there, right? So nature, Purusha, and Prakriti, Purusha, and consciousness, right? So the consciousness, what kind of consciousness you should build, such that you are not getting entangled with the material world, but you are coming out of it in the sense that you are not getting associated so much, such that you are not coming out. So it is like it's like a pit, where if you go there you will be just going inside. It's like a whirlpool, or in Telugu we call it as ubi we call it as. There are some places where you have ubi. Once you go inside, you will not be able to come out unless until somebody pulls you out with a rope or something. That is what. And Krishna and the Guru is trying to give you that rope, and you have to just catch it, and then they will pull you out. But you have to catch it first. You need to have the what do you say, the determination that you have to catch it, and they are going to help you. You need to have the faith. So once you have the faith that yes, this is, they are going to help me, and they are going to pull me out from this material pool, that when you have the determination and you put your endeavor also, it is not going to come up just like that. When you say, you have to put your endeavor by catching it tightly and putting your effort to really come out, and having faith on the other person that they are going to pull you out. So with that kind of a mindset and that kind of a consciousness, once you have, you all transformation and influence of the material nature by the three modes are production of the material nature. So the whatever the modes of nature are there, whatever gunas you have acquired, the sattva guna, raja guna, and tamo guna, is because of the interaction with the material nature. So but again you have to transcend all this and come to the Suddha Sattva, which is again on the spiritual domain. It's not on the material domain. Sattva guna is also the material nature only, or domain. but it will help you to go to the Suddha Sattva. So better have the qualities of Suddha Sattva. Sorry, the Sattvic Guna. As far as the spirit soul is concerned, living entities are all the same, and all transformation and varieties are due to the body only. So there is no difference between your soul and the other soul. So all are same, but only difference is that the kind of bodies you have taken based on the kind of nature that you have cultivated, the gunas that you have cultivated. So that is only difference. But soul is the same. All souls are the same. Spirit souls. So nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. Okay. So here it is said that nature is said to be the cause of the material causes. Okay. So in the so whatever transformation is going to happen in the nature, it is happening. But the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. So if you are suffering, you are enjoying in this material world, you are the cause. And basically you kind of made up because of your karma, whatever you did, it is because of you, right? You may say that why only I am suffering? I am a pure devotee. Now at least I have come to Krishna consciousness. Why bad things are happening to me? It depends upon the previous karma that you have to fulfill. Not that I suppose I am a devotee, now I am following Krishna consciousness. If I get cancer, then you should not say that, hey, I am been a very sincere devotee for the last 10 years. Why am I got this kind of a disease? Why somebody is giving Adi Bhautika suffering, Adi Daivika suffering? Why am I only getting? Or so this because your karma is still there, that balance. If Krishna wants, he can remove all your karma balance, and this in this life only you can go back to the spiritual world. But for that, what you need to do? Yes, please. What you need to do for that? If you wanted to go back to the spiritual world in this life only,
Service to Lord.
service to Lord. Yes. Yeah. Anybody else? What you need to do?
Regulate the sensory
Chant,
organs with
regular
expression.
chanting.
Yeah, Santosh Prabhu, you continue.
Mahamantra.
Yeah,
Mahamantra.
regulate all your sensory organs towards Krishna, and do this ABCD practice E till E, and I think ultimately will reach the goal.
Okay. So the same question was asked to Srila Prabhupada by the devotees who were there that time, the Western devotees. They asked the same question. So will we go back to the spiritual world? How much time it is going to take for us? How many lifetimes it is going to take to go back to the spiritual world? Then Srila Prabhupada, in a very serious voice, he asked, "Don't you read Bhagavad Gita?" He asked, "Don't you read Bhagavad Gita? Don't you believe in Krishna?" What he said? It takes only 1 minute to go back to the spiritual world. And he gave the answer. He said, Krishna said that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So if you can surrender to Krishna, see, it is all depending upon how much you are surrendered to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So Krishna is telling that if you surrender, you are going to get it. You can now, since it is very difficult for us, of all we know that it's not easy to surrender. And Sarva Dharman Parityajya, so surrender everything towards the Supreme Lord, and then I will take you back to Goloka. That's what Krishna is saying. Much more merciful is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just take Hare Krishna Mahamantra, do your chanting, and this will take you back to Goloka. So that is the beauty of Kali Yuga. So you don't have to do so much of struggle, because in Kali Yuga that is the easiest process when compared to any other Yuga. In any other Yuga it is so difficult to go back to Goloka. So in Kali Yuga, and some of the entities, living entities, they always desire that, or sometimes they desire that, let me take birth in the Kali Yuga. And one of the reasons that the population is more in Kali Yuga is because there are so many other living entities who wanted to take birth in Kali Yuga because the process is so easy. So let me take up to this process and go back to Goloka. So we have got a wonderful and a unique opportunity, and as Mataji Barsana Mataji has told us that because of some Agnata Sukruti we have got this opportunity. So it is like we need to utilize it's like, what do you say, it is like what is the example they say it as, it is a bad bargain. Okay, so basically what unfortunately we have taken this material body. Now what we can do, best utilize whatever we have. So that is what we need to do, and do not compromise on your spiritual sadhana. That should be like one of the first and foremost things that you do in your daily activities. It is like I gave you one example sometime back, if you remember also. You have small pebbles, you have glass of water, and you have small rocks, and you have big rocks, and you have a tumbler where you have to put all of them. So uh, and the big rocks are like the spiritual activities that you are doing, and small things are like the other activities that you are doing. Okay, and the water and other things whatever you have. Now which one you should put first such that you can fit everything nicely out of these big rocks, small rocks, and pebbles and sand and water? Which is the order in which you have to put? First you put water, then sand. Will that really and what will you do?
First big rocks, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Then after big rock, you could put sand because sand sinks into it. Then after that, you can put water. Water still gets absorbed.
Okay. Any other person wanted to add to that? What is the order?
First, we need to keep the pebbles and then small rocks, then sand and water, Prabhuji.
Okay, so the order in which you need to put is that you need to put big rocks first. Whatever are the bigger ones, you put that. Your spiritual sadhana. So whatever book reading you have, so so those are the important things. So that you put first, and after that you put the small rocks, whichever are the next level things that you have. So those small rocks you put inside, and they can just go and adjust wherever they possible. Then put small pebbles, small pebbles, then put sand, because sand will go and hid in a places where small rocks also did not go, and pebbles will also can go wherever small rocks did not go. So now sand will go and inside. Then put water, so then the water can also go. So don't put water first and then put the sand, then put the pebbles, and then your small rocks, and then it's not going to be filled. Like it just gets added up, and you will not be able to put everything. So in your life also, one has to cultivate to put your sadhana activities, spiritual activities first in life, first in your day, preferably. And if not, you can put it, but adjust in your day activity, plan it properly, and take it up, and don't give up. With determination, catch on to that rope which will pull you out from that particular ubi, that whirlpool which you are, and and have the faith in the process. Okay, so where are we with respect to time? Okay, so we have some more time. Right. So because of the happiness and distress, misidentification, and tendency to enjoy. So why we are suffering in this particular material body is because the cause of happiness and distress is because misidentification. What misidentification causes the happiness and distress? What is that misidentification? Anybody?
False
We would think that happiness lies in the material world only.
Okay. Anybody else?
We hog around the false identity which says we are this body, we are so and so, forgetting our true relationship with the Supreme.
Right. Those
False
questions the questions what Arjuna has asked, the answers, if you can get that right kind of an answers and get that understanding, then you will not get identified with your body. You actually you are having this body, but again you are just occupying as a person who is occupying a house and staying in that house. It is just temporary and it is not permanent. This has to go one day. So when you know that you have to go, see, it is like when I went to US and I stayed there, one thing always kept in my mind. It depends upon person to person, but whenever I went, I know that I will be staying only for 1 year. I never wanted to go and have a green card and do all that. At least I didn't have that desire. So whatever I am accumulating there in terms of buying certain things, etc., etc., I know that I'm not going to stay there for so many years or permanently there. So I just wanted to get whatever is required to stay there for temporarily. So you also should have the consciousness that this body is temporary. It has to go one day. So don't endeavor all your efforts, all your time for maintaining this material body and material relationships. But everybody, anything with respect to material will go away. So again, you take up whatever is required, but that will help you in your spiritual endeavors, but rest of the things you leave. But again, your swadharma is also there. Don't give up your swadharma. Parodharma you need to do, but again, don't give up your swadharma. So that is what. So the misidentification, if you can identify properly what is prakriti, what is kshetra, what is kshetrajna, and all these questions whatever Arjuna is asking, and get the right knowledge, then you can identify rightly, and then you will be equipoised. Equipoised in the sense, when there is distress, when there is happiness, you will be equipoised. Krishna is not saying that you will not get happiness, you will not get distress. He's saying that these both will be the part of your whatever karma you have got. But based on that, you will suffer and you will be having some happiness. But again, do not if you have this understanding that it is temporary, whether it is happiness is going to be temporary, distress is going to be temporary, anything in this world is going to be temporary. If you know that and you have that consciousness, then you will be equipoised. Yeah, this is going to go away. If some distress has come in your life, it is going to pass. But whatever happiness is going to come, again you know that this happiness is going to pass. It is not going to be there forever. And sometimes people always launch for that happiness which they gained. See, they say that especially from a wife and husband perspective, wife keeps saying, and generally I'm saying, wife keeps saying, you are not the same person when you got married. That time you are so affectionate, you are so loving, and now you are not like that. See, you should give them the Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Nothing is permanent. So everything is temporary. So things keep changing. Change is the by nature, that is what it is. So, and same with Prabhujis also. They 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 also have changed a lot. So, but finally, end of the day, what you need to understand is that you need to know what is your purpose in your life. What is that you are striving? What is that your object of knowledge? What is that you are trying to gain out of this life, unique life, and a unique opportunity that you have got? Don't misuse it. Don't just like that waste it. So if you waste your this human form of life, then you are like Dvipada Pashu. Uh, so you're not inquiring about the absolute truth. Atato Brahma Jignasa is not there. Again, after inquiry, you are not able to get the right kind of answers, pursue to get the right answers and follow that. Very important. Following also is important. And with submissively, you need to inquire doing all this, right? So, okay, so but this is what we discussed already. 8.4 lakh or 8.4. Oh, this is not 8.4 lakhs. It is actually not 8.4 million. It is 8,400,000. So maybe it is the same then. No, I don't think It is 8.4 lakh species. This is the typo error. They arise from the different sensual pleasures and desires. Why you are getting so many different kind of bodies? Because you are desiring some that kind of sensual pleasures and desires are there. So you take up any of these species according to your desires. If you are desiring that, then different bodies result in different happiness and distress. So conclusion is that material happiness and distress are due to the body and not to himself, the soul, as he is the cause of being in the material world. Okay, desire to lord it over the material nature is what is the reason why you are taking the next material birth. So if you do not have this kind of desires, and your desire is to serve the Supreme Lord, and you be in that kind of a consciousness, you will not take up this material body again. Material world is a place of struggle, provides different residential quarters. So residential quarters meaning what? Different types of species bodies you will get. Everyone is struggling to acquire different kinds of pleasure from the body. Body is the effect of senses, and senses are instrument of gratifying the desires. The living entity gets a body according to the past desires and activities that they are doing now. Past desires and activity decide one's residential quarters. Residential quarters meaning what? What is this residential quarter meaning?
Different bodies, Prabhuji.
Body.
Yes, yes, yeah, yes, that's correct. Different bodies. Whatever, how many different types of residential quarters are there?
8.4 lakhs.
8.4 lakh different types of residential quarters are there. And what kind of a residential quarter you take decides, what decides that?
Karma.
Desires.
Desire and karma.
Desire.
Your
Desire.
past desires and activity. Activity meaning your karma. So those kind of an karma or activity what you are doing now, and your past desires or past karma is all what it is influencing you, or it is a kind of telling you what kind of a residential quarter you will take. So that's what it is. And this is called law of nature. Once a body is attained, one comes under the laws of nature and behaves as a dog or a hog or a demigod. So all these are based on your desires, right? So that's what it is. Living entity undergoes happiness and distress due to tendency of enjoyment. Basically, it all comes down to saying that I wanted to enjoy. This is for me. So that kind of a controlling nature. So once you detach yourself and get the understanding that I am not this material body, I am spirit soul, I have to do something towards that. Once you develop that particular kind of a desire, and this again, this is also a desire, but this is the spiritual desire, not the material desire. That is what will take you to the next level, where you need not come back to this material world. So that kind of a desires you should have, right? So it is not like we are becoming desireless. We are becoming our desires are more towards the spiritual desires. How I can do service to the Lord, how I can render service to the suffering souls, how I can spread this Bhagavad Gita knowledge to others. See, these are all spiritual desires, right? So as Mataji and Prabhuji has shared today, they are into service. They, as they told, they never came into this is the first time they are coming and sharing their experience in this kind of a platform, but they are so much into service. And as Prabhuji said, he is a doctor by profession, and now also in corona time, lot of doctors have given up, saying that we do not want to do service, and he, out of his own compassion, he is going and doing service. Okay, the this and why he is doing this service? Because he wanted to give whatever he has, and as a service he is doing it, not with respect to name, fame, money. So they are so much, they are both are doctors, and they have a big mansion in Gachibowli. You cannot even imagine. I used to go there and take classes in their residence. So see, that is what one should be having, the service attitude and service to the Supreme Lord. And it is not a Manav Seva, Madhav Seva. No, when Prabhuji is going, he is doing it as a service to the Supreme Lord. he goes there and talks to people, and at the as a byproduct also, or sometimes when he gives this, he comes in contact with people and he talks about Bhagavad Gita and things like that. And so they similarly, Mataji, you see how elevated she is, with and Prabhuji is also very elevated, and we should get that kind of an association. And I would try to seek other senior Vaishnavas association also for our class discussion, and probably one of the classes they can also take, so we all get benefited out of it. I am trying to do that. Let's wish that Krishna gives us the sanctioning part of that, to get that kind of an association also. Okay, the super soul always accompanies the soul in all circumstances, in all bodies. So this is what it is. Again, you see, it is not just there in Bhagavad Gita, it is there in other Upanishads also. Mandoka Upanishad, it's there, and also in Suparna Sayoja. So this is the sloka where it is quoted in this particular Upanishads. So always the super soul is like always coming with you. So any doubts so far? Are we good? We'll just conclude in few more, and then actually we are supposed to take the quiz also. I am spending a lot of time in. So let's see how far. Can we extend this for half an hour? Is that okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu.
Anyone has any difficulty if we extend it for half an hour? Anyone? I presume everybody is okay. Okay. Please do be there. If inevitable, you can leave. But we wanted to complete this chapter because it's taken too much time to complete. But again, this is very important chapter. Reason being, these are the important questions. If you can really get the essence of this particular chapter, your spiritual journey has started. So that is what Krishna is also mentioning, and senior Vaishnavas have said. The living entity in the material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. So you can enjoy. How can you enjoy in the three modes of nature? Can anybody tell? What does it mean? Living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. How can the living entity enjoy the three modes of nature?
See, probably when you understand the three modes of nature and how it impacts you, that understanding level of this thing, if it happens, then you are actually detached by them. So
No.
then,
Don't give me, Prabhuji, don't give me the solution. I'm asking you how the living entity is enjoying the three modes of nature. How
By
is that you are enjoying three modes of nature? That's my question.
by
Anybody can
by
answer that?
Namasmarana. By
Yeah, Premila Mata.
Namasmarana. Yes.
No, how, see, understand the question. How the living entity is enjoying the three modes of nature. You know what are the three modes of nature? Rajasic,
Sattva Tamo.
Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Now,
Yes.
how we are enjoying being, suppose I am in Rajasic mode. How am I enjoying that particular Rajasic mode? How am I enjoying in the Tamasic mode? How am I enjoying in the Sattvic mode? Can somebody tell me?
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead,
Please
Mataji.
go ahead, Mataji.
No, you go ahead, Mataji. Jyoti Mataji.
Okay. What I suppose is whether it is Rajasic, Tamasic, or the third one, like whatever activity we are doing, let us the result of that activity is being given to the God. So we are working in akarma mode.
Okay, very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, anybody else wanted to add how we are enjoying in these three modes of nature? How the living entity is enjoying? Yeah, go ahead.
Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, you can connect to those things.
That is suffering. And I'm talking about enjoying. Because the sloka is talking about enjoyment. Yeah.
Yeah, basically means the human being enjoys these three modes. One acquiring things, different things he acquires because of the position what he has, and getting angry, jealous because of the tamas nature. He oversleeps himself, And the Suddha nature, that is nothing but connecting God, doing some puja. So different activities, what he does, then this kind of modes plays on him. So he acts accordingly.
Okay. Any other last person wanted to add anything? Anybody wanted to contribute? Then we'll just quickly discuss that. Okay. Okay. So see, as Prabhuji and other Matajis have nicely mentioned, the enjoyment in the three modes of nature. Suppose I am in the Rajasic mode, say. Let's start with Tamasic mode. See, I am a person who just wanted to, do not wanted to use my brain. I just wanted to do some physical activity and eat whatever like maybe I wanted to eat non-veg or whatever, because I have to take up so much of physical activity, and that's I wanted to take up physical activity, and my desire is to take up some physical activity because that is where I get enjoyment. You got my point. I take enjoyment when I do certain Herculean tasks of moving some big boulders or weightlifting, because that is a kind of a I wanted to do some physical activity, but I wanted to eat a lot of non-vegetarian food or tamasic food because I wanted to do certain activities which will help me also, and I wanted to sleep forever, take rest for 10 hours, 20 hours. So these are some of my desires, and I enjoy these kind of desires when I am in that tamasic mode, or the modes of nature. The one of the mode is that tamasic mode. So these kind of desires are there, and I am able to enjoy when I am in that mode. Suppose I am in the Rajasic mode, where I am controlling people. I am the boss. I can dictate things and things will get done. So I am in the Rajasic mode. And when I do this, I am able to get my enjoyment, because that is what I cultivated, that kind of a nature. So, and Sattvic mode also, I do some Sattvic activities. Okay, Sattvic activities wherein I get some enjoyment doing that kind of an activities, doing some charity, speaking very nicely, and for having only simplicity. So these are some Sattvic, and it gives me enjoyment. But what is missing in this particular three modes of nature, or what is some of the things that one is not aligned to what we have discussed? Can somebody tell me what is the problem with these modes of nature, and what is the problem with me enjoying? What is the problem? It's good, right? I'm enjoying. What is the problem then? Yeah, Jyoti Mataji or other.
It should be directed towards the God. Like whatever you are doing, it should do some benefit, some devotional service to the Lord.
We,
Okay.
we are doing only with akarma, sakarma, and we are not coming to the vikarma. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean to say that we are still with that. We are not detached
Okay.
to that.
Okay. Yes. Any other
Yeah,
Mataji, Prabhujis?
yeah, Prabhuji. So basically, the modes of nature which are given to you, as you rightly said, it's a prison which is given to you because of your past deeds. You got this prison life. So now also, if you don't realize that you are played by this nature, then you'll be wasting the entire life. This is a life which is a chance for you to, get over this and get connected to the supreme happiness, or
Yes.
so
Yes, Prabhuji. See, what is the problem here is that there is no problem if you enjoy. The problem is that you are enjoying just for yourself. You are saying that, yes, I wanted to do this because this is for my personal enjoyment. But actually, when you start doing that, you feel that at one point of time, when if suppose things are not happening as per your expectations, you get hypertension. When things are not happening as per your expectations, you get BP, you get tension, you get altercation with other person, and you go and fight with them, and you do a lot of activities because it is I centered. I kind of do things such that I protect myself, and I can go to do certain things which is not legal, not appropriate. And suppose I have a desire to enjoy with some other person, And now what I do, I get away from the married life of and then go and have extramarital relationship. So all this is what I centered, I wanted to enjoy. And this is all coming up from your modes of nature. And because of these, the self-centered attitude which you have cultivated from so many janmas, and the desires that you have cultivated, because this modes of nature is made of what? It's made up of desires only. Whatever desires you are having, that kind of a mode you will be predominantly into that. So once you understand that, no, I am not this body, I am spirit soul, so I have to do certain things such that I come out of this material modes of nature. Once that determination comes and your faith is there that yes, I wanted to do it, then slowly you will be doing certain things towards that particular goal that you have set. So then slowly whatever mode you are, and finally these modes of nature will stop influencing you. Why Krishna is telling that if you are devoted to me and if you are surrendering to me, the modes of nature are in my control, and I will take care of them such that they will not get influenced on you. That is what Krishna is assuring you. So that is the reason why one should cultivate the surrendering to Krishna and doing rendering service to Krishna. And the one of the things that you can also practice in your home is that you can have an altar of Krishna. And every day morning, if you can do Mangalarati or do some kind of a Aarti, and you can give Bhoga to him there, and distribute that Krishna Prasad, slowly that it will take time, because it's not going to happen in one life, or it may take 100 lives. So, but again, you have started that journey, and by good fortune. See, I'll tell you once. There was one devotee in 500 years back when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. For some reason, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was annoyed with one particular devotee, and he said, do not allow this person into the congregation where we are doing chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and reading Bhagavatam, all this. Do not make that person to come and enter. So, but again, this particular devotee repented on what he has done, and he was just waiting outside till that permission comes. And he was just waiting like that for so many days. And he was weeping. But I am not getting darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotee association. Then later on, when other devotees have found out that he is really repenting, and he has really mean that he has repentance, he has got from that. Then when they report to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he says that no, I do not want him to allow his association now. Maybe let's see, after 500 lifetimes he might get my association. So till that time he will not get. So that is what he told, and the same thing was told to that person. And this person, when he heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his association and the Supreme Lord's association will get after 500 lifetimes, he was jumping like anything with ecstatic joy. And he's saying that, yes, I will get darshan and I will get association of the Supreme Lord after 500 lifetimes. So when he saw that, and when devotees have reported that he's jumping with ecstasy because he's going to get your association after 500 lifetimes, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, okay, bring him inside. So because see, you don't really bother about when you will get liberation, when you will get to Goloka. So you just do your service, do your association, do your sadhana, whatever, without any expectations. When time comes, when Krishna mercy is there, he will take you. Next time, next life, or 100 lives or 1,000 lives, it doesn't matter for us. So that is the kind of consciousness one should build. So that is what we wanted, right? So
Prabhuji, I have a small.
go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, like, with this discussion, like what you're telling us is like we have to come out of the three modes of nature, or follow three modes of nature and try to arrive him. Is it
So
following it or not following it?
So Mataji, what happens is that when we have to see, suppose I am a person, I have taken this birth because one of the modes of nature has predominantly put me into this particular, see, out of the three, everybody is in one of the three modes, whether he is in sattvic mode or in rajasic mode or tamasic mode. You are born by predominantly with one nature. This is what Ayurveda also says. When I see nadi of patients, I also see this. What is his predominant nature? So we are also having a predominant nature, and you need to identify what is your predominant nature, and accordingly dovetail your activities towards the Lord. So suppose you are a person who would like to communicate, and basically, let me tell you without any hesitation, I am a more or less a rajasic kind of a person, or predominantly I am rajasic by nature. But again, slowly that rajasic nature, what is there, I am moving towards the sattvic nature by devotee association. If you are tamasic also, slowly you can transform from tamasic to whatever, and slowly come towards the sattvic nature. Sattvic nature is basically a platform which will help you in your spiritual sadhana. Okay, but now I have identified that I am a person who is rajasic, but when with the devotee association, I am coming towards sattvic. And see, when I am taken, see, if you wanted to do a leadership position in the multinational companies, being as a technical lead or managing a big what do you say, group of developers, you need to have certain qualities, right? But again, when you can do it as a service leadership attitude, he not dominating them with rajasic nature, but you are kind of influencing them positively with your service leader attitude. That is what we wanted. But again, you are doubting, you are identifying what kind of a nature you have, and based on that you are also taking up certain things. Okay, I don't know whether I have answered that question, but uh,
Yeah, I feel that with any mode, we can direct ourselves towards, that's what you're trying to say.
yes, definitely. If
Yes, that's
suppose,
what. Yes, yeah.
see, if I am a tamasic kind of a person, right? So I'm tamasic kind of person, but what I do, but I have, I have a habit of eating a lot of prasadam. Prasadam means food. And my slowly, if I slowly give up my nature of eating tamasic food, because food is also slowly Krishna will talks about what kind of foods come under in which category of modes, and which will influence you in that particular mode. When you leave that kind of a foods, it will take you to the higher modes. Okay, so if you can cultivate these kind of habits of because if suppose you are tamasic kind of a person, but you have a physical strength to do certain things, why don't you do it to do some service in the temple, cleaning, and there are people who help in Rath Yatra to put up the tents, and in the hot summer they go and help the laborers. So they do that because they're doubting whatever they are in, and because that is the, because I am predominantly in this particular mode, I can dovetail to do that in my activity towards the Lord. You got the point? Now suppose you are at home, and you are doing certain services at home, and you can help the children and family members, husband or wife, to coexist, and do certain things in nice Krishna Prasad, if you can prepare and help them to overcome this Annamaya Kosha. Okay, you can, if you can prepare nicely, instead of they going outside and eating and getting all the karma. So if you can prepare at home only nice food, see, it all starts with the tongue, and Matajis are the right kind of stakeholders to take care of the needs of the family members. If you can cook the right kind of prasadam and give them, and not only give them, if you can bring the environment where they can peacefully eat the prasadam and peacefully be at home, and enjoy the company with not you taking the role of where you are dominating, and things like that. But in a submissive way, if you can render service to them, because when you submissively do the service at home, so it will also bring you closer to Lord, because you are also going to submissively do the activities towards the Lord. If you can put it into practice now at home, you can put it towards the Lord also. It will become easy. But because of our upbringing, because of our predominant nature, we started dominating at home, whether it is Matajis or Prabhujis, both. So if you can cultivate the habit of peacefully helping our family members, and also the other extended family members, then nothing like it, right? So you can overcome all these modes of nature, and you can you can come out of these modes of nature, and that is required for your transformation to happen. And yeah, you cannot sit in the sattvic mode also. You have to come out of it also, because that is again material mode. You need to come out of it. So that's what Krishna is saying. Don't be in sattvic mode also. Okay,
Prabhuji,
make sense? Is that okay?
Prabhuji,
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
because this Kali Yuga itself is in Sattvic mode, but every one of us in Sattvic, tamasic mode, because everybody will in tamasic mode. So people are worshipping trees, animals, and like that. But in Rasic mode, this Dwapar Yuga, where wars are fought, kings are there, wars are there. So that is Rasic mode. So Satyuga, where there are no wars, people are peace. So everyone meditating God, and there are very few people. And so that is uh, Sattvic mode. So
Right.
yugas also will come under this
Absolutely.
modes.
See,
Because
finally,
of
Prabhuji,
ah,
so what you said is correct. See,
yugas only.
predominantly each yuga, as you rightly mentioned, each yuga has got predominant mode, because the people out there are deciding what mode they are in, right? So in the Satya Yuga, people are in sattvic mode. So there, people are not even thinking. When you think evil of somebody in the mind, also that karma is going to come to you. Suppose I see
In
some women.
Satyuga, there is no police stations, there is no lawyers, there is no courts. So nothing is there in Satyuga. So everybody is peaceful.
Everybody is peaceful, but at the same time, the percentage
There is no
wise,
wars also.
right, Prabhu. But
Okay.
so percentage wise, predominantly, see, it is like predominant. See, you say that you are the tamasic mode, or you can say that you are rajasic mode and you are sattvic mode. Predominantly, what is more important? I have tamasic mode also. I cannot say myself that I do not have tamasic mode, I do not have sattvic mode. What is predominantly you are? So in that yuga, in Satya Yuga, people are predominantly in the sattvic mode. But do not say that there is no other mode with them. Predominantly, most of
Yeah,
them are sattvic.
yeah.
Got
In
it,
fact,
na?
Prabhuji, even saying Satvik, Satya Yoga also, if you see even God's two plays, the wars did happen. Kurukshetra himself is a war where even Rama came to kill Ravana. Before that, also we have seen so many demons coming in. So every yoga will have all the people of different natures.
But again, what is predominantly how people are population wise? If you see, out of maybe 10% were demons. Okay, but in Satya Yuga, if there are 10% or 5%, in the next Yuga, the Upper Yuga and Treta Yuga, so what happened is that the demonic nature has increased, and sattvic nature or the other nature, sattvic nature has decreased, or people with the right kind of qualities, good qualities, have decreased. When it came to Kali Yuga, now see, if suppose the if Krishna comes and wanted to kill demons in Kali Yuga, how many people he has to kill? How he has to kill everybody? Why? Because everybody by nature we are demonic. We are not following the rules and regulations. We have done so many karmas which are we may not have the horns and the big teeth and like that, but predominantly we are demonic by nature. We are doing a lot of activities which are not supposed to be done. But again, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he wanted to eliminate the demonic nature which is there within ourselves, and how we can become a devotee though we are a demon, by taking the chanting process. When you take, see, there were two very sinful people in that time, Jagai and Madai. So Jagai and Madai, where you tell what kind of a nonsense one can do, they have done, they are doing that kind of nonsense. They go and rape people, they go and loot people, they drink all the time, and they beat people. So those kind of activities Jagai and Madai were doing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu time. And Lord Nityananda he is none other than Balram. Tomorrow is Balram Jayanti, for your information. So he was so merciful. He went to those Jagai and Madai who are very sinful people, and those two people, he just requested them to take up to Hare Krishna chanting, and but take Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and they were drinking. That time they were drinking with the what mud pots, and one of them, I think it was Jagai, he took that mud pot and hit on Nityananda Prabhu's head, and it was bleeding. And immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and when he knew this, and he wanted to take his Sudarshan Chakra and chop off these two demons in the sense who are taking the human form only, but they were very sinful. Then Nityananda Prabhu caught him and pleaded him, saying that you have come into this Kali Yuga not to kill demons, but to eliminate the demonic nature which is there within these people. So, he was so merciful, and later on he could these two demons were these two Jagai and Madai, after asking mercy and forgiveness from Nityananda Prabhu, they became pure devotees, and they became one of the pure devotees in our sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sampradaya. So what you talk about yourself and myself, there are people who are much more fallen, who got elevated to the platform where we are. It's just that you need to have the determination, right kind of consciousness, and right kind of a mercy from the senior Vaishnavas, and you can also progress. What is this modes of nature? This you can overcome. It is just that it is material modes of nature. The superior modes of nature is your spiritual part. If your soul is determined that yes, I wanted to overcome this, nobody can stop you, because the soul is the higher authority. I see. I am this body is there, but who is controlling this body? The soul is controlling the body. If the soul itself is taken the control over this body, and he wants to take wherever he wants, the soul wants, not the mind or the intelligence or false ego is taking you, then it will follow the soul, and it will do whatever modes of nature will not really influence you, because the soul has made up its mind. It's not getting influenced by mind, intelligence, and false ego, or your senses and the desires which are arising from the senses, because the root cause is your senses. My senses, my genitals, my tongue, my these things are really giving me the desires. If I can pacify them and take control over them, then who is going to stop you? And transformation is going to happen. Is that okay, Prabhuji, Mataji? I think we.
Okay,
Thank you, Prabhuji, for asking such a wonderful question. You are like acharyas, they say, right? You are like Prashnacharya. So nice questions you ask and enlighten us. Thank you so much,
thank you,
Prabhu. I am always indebted for Mallikarjun Prabhu for the spirit with which he asks, and it not only helps the other devotees, but it will help me also to find out the right answers. So I always indebted to Prabhuji. Sometimes people may think why Prabhuji is disturbing the class, but never like that, Prabhu. So we are all learning, and when some people are asking whatever doubts, we are getting benefited. And I thank each one of you for asking such questions. Many have asked, and please continue asking that and get clarification. Just get convinced 100%. So there is no 99% like that. See, if suppose there is a book, I wanted to give this book to you. So can I do 99% to give to you? I can either give you or don't give you. So like that, don't be in intermediate stage. So take up everything, whatever is given in Bhagavad Gita in toto, and then follow it. It is like one great, wonderful opportunity that we have got, and we just have to utilize this for our own coming out of these modes of nature, right? I think I have dealt enough and taken too much time. Um Okay, so we will just conclude with a few things, and then I wanted to take up one or two questions at least. I have this, since it is a very important chapter, I have come up with 45, 47 quiz questions. So let's see how far we go up, and I'll just conclude with some of the slides, and then quiz I don't think we can do, because I don't want to make others also wait. Nature, the enjoyer, and the desire to enjoy forges the bond between Purusha and Prakriti. So once you wanted to enjoy, the desire to enjoy is there, then the bonding happens between the Purusha and the Prakriti. So that is what it is told here. And Purusha here means that not here we are talking about the soul which is there, and the super soul also which is there, and that is what the Prakriti is the material nature. So you are getting that bond. So because the desire is the root cause of everything, so desire to enjoy. So but we are not saying that don't desire, but have the desire towards the Supreme Lord. Dovetail your desires towards the Supreme Lord. So not towards the material eye enjoyment. Na hoge hogitni. That most of the time I keep telling that. So the concept of I, when it goes, then I can go to the next spiritual abode. Na hoge hogitni. Living entity follows the way of life according to the three modes of nature. So what based on the three modes of nature, see, these three modes of nature are basically based on the desires that you have, and that kind of a desire, whatever you have, modes of nature, that will give you that kind of a body. Out of the 8.4 lakh species, whichever body suits your desires, and that kind of a body you will take. Association the material nature leads to different good and evil among the various species. So that's what you will be cultivating, that kind of a this thing. Okay, desire to enjoy forges the bond between this etc. This we have discussed. Yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul, which we have already covered. Okay. So again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Okay, because of their tendency to hear from authority, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So if you can follow the authority and do whatever you hear, that will also transcend you from birth and death. Okay, it is that how much you surrender to the authority, surrender to the scriptures, surrender to the instruction. That is what it is. Okay, so people who are not conversant with spiritual knowledge, but they can also get out of this material entanglement. Bhakti is the easiest and the best process. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. And Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nameyu Kevalam. Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyadha. So in this Kali Yuga, there is no other way, no other way, no other way, other than taking the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years back and given this, and for all, for us to get liberated. And go back to the spiritual abode. The Jnana Chakshu, one who sees, can see the super soul, the living entity, and the material nature in their proper perspective. sees through the eyes of knowledge. So you that Jnana Chakshu means you need to see what it is with that particular knowledge. Super soul, the living entity, material nature in the proper perspective. If you can see that, and then you got the Jnana Chakshu, that kind of a eyes. That is what Krishna is talking about in the end. That one should get to see in the right perspective. Okay. So the vision of knowledge, everything we see is a combination of field and knower of the field. Neither the super soul nor the soul within the body are destroyed. So this is the knowledge part. Okay, summary is one who sees the distinction between the body, its owner, and the super soul, and one who recognizes the process of liberation can attain supreme goal. What is your supreme goal? Can somebody tell me? What is our supreme goal?
To reach
To reach
Krishna
Goloka.
to reach
Goloka.
Goloka. So you need to be enthusiastically pursuing. That's what our Mataji has told, Barsana Mataji has told. Enthusiastically take up, not with morose mind. So be enthusiastic in life. When you do some service at home also, be enthusiastic. Don't do it. If somebody comes to your home, you don't say that, vachera kada randi. You do not see, be enthusiastic. You just welcome him. So with nice mindset, nice consciousness. So when you serve prasadam, be nicely serving them. When you have the kind of relationship with your wife and you have nice relationship, help her in her activities, whatever she has got. So finally, because you need to come out of these whatever material differences you have and focus on one, which both if they can focus on the spiritual part of going back to Goloka, nothing like it. See,
Prabhu,
so
sorry
yeah,
for
go ahead.
interruption, Prabhuji. Is respecting every minute throughout the life. Respecting every minute throughout the life with
Right,
enthusiasm.
but again, I tell you what. See, there was one story that I might have told you. I'll conclude with that. So there was one Mataji, and she was having a spiritual master, and she was very devoted to take up the spiritual process, but husband was not really interested in taking up anything on the spiritual side. Then once the spiritual master comes to the city, and she invites the spiritual master to come to the home, and she informs the husband, but he is not at all interested to listen to her. But she invited, and she was giving prasadam to the spiritual master. Then the husband came, and husband blasphemed the wife and the spiritual master, saying that how shameless you are. You are come when the husband is not there, one, and you are eating like this. He blasphemed. Then this wife told, the spiritual master leaves that place, and the wife says, now you are my husband, I cannot scold you. At the same time, I have my dharma that I have to do towards my spiritual master. So in this position, what I can do, I will go on fasting. I will not eat anything, but I'll go on fasting. So she has taken some kind of a stand, but such that some transformation can happen towards the husband. Now he is fond of his wife so much, because she is very good in serving him in whatever needs. So now he doesn't wanted to lose her. Okay, but again, then he succumbs to the her needs, and she says that what I should do, please tell me. Then she says that bring my spiritual master and feed him with your own hands. And when he went up and did the same thing, and he very nicely he fed the spiritual master, Agnata Sukriti can come, and it has come to him in the due course of time, and he also became a devotee. So in each one of our life, whether it is with family members, not all are in the same page, and not all will be in the same platform. Different see, based on your karma, you get your wife, you get your husband, you get your children, and if, whatever suffering enjoyment you have to is there in your bank balance, that you will get. So that is what it is. But be equanimous in whatever situation. It will pass away. And finally you pray to the Lord that as per your wish this has happened, so let it be so, and but pursue your spiritual path. Take the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with full devotion and doing it as a service, whatever activities you do, and the things will transform. Okay, Prabhuji, Mataji, thank you very much. That's what I have. There are a few other slides, but we are done with this chapter of 13th chapter. Any questions, anything that you wanted to ask before we end for today? It is already 6:30. Yep.
One question, probably you can put it in the group also, no issues. But one thing is, this thing is Janmashtami fasting, are we observing on 11th or 12th? That is one question. Second is, what are the basic do's and don'ts for following that? I'm English is doing, but I wanted to do in a proper way.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I will send it on the WhatsApp, but generally it depends upon person to person. I do on Janmashtami, I do fasting, the entire day fasting, entire day fasting till 12 o'clock in the midnight.
Yes.
And till that time I do fasting, and after that also I take only sattvic food, sattvic, some kind of a fruits, or at the most, if you are not able to because of medical reasons or some other reason, you can take ekadashi prasadam. So that kind of a thing, whatever you take on ekadashi, that kind of thing you can take. So that is what, but we do not take grains on that day. Generally, again, this is not hard and fast, but that one should do. It depends upon the person to person. Don't just do just because somebody else is doing, but if it inspires you, if you are able to do, then you do. And I do nirjal on that day, so I don't take water also. Again, it has not come just like that. It has taken lot of beatings, lot of struggle, and now I am able to do it. So it takes time, beating in the sense, not in a negative way, because on that day I am really able to remember Lord and minimize my wants. So that's one thing. If suppose you are not able to sustain without having food and water, you can just start with having some prasadam, and some you can do ekadashi on that day. uh, so at least one day you can, instead of taking all the day, only one time you can take some prasadam. So something where you can minimize. The point is that don't do it like a ritual. Do it with consciousness. That's more important. Did it answer you, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. And is it 11th, Prabhuji? Fasting is on 11th?
So we are doing it on 12th. So I'll just confirm the
Okay.
timing and other things.
Okay.
Yeah, that is all, Prabhu. And probably next week I will tell you there will be some online darshans also for the Abbott's temple. So you can also take darshans, and there are some things that they are doing. So yeah.
Virtual celebrations will be there, Prabhuji. Virtual celebrations.
Yeah, virtual in the sense, not virtual meaning virtual. It will be live telecast will be there, and through Facebook you can go through that. So some arrangements is made. So I'll provide you the details. Anything else, Prabhuji, Mataji, before we end this call?
We just wanted to thank you, Prabhuji, for introducing us to such a very good devotees, and their message was very good.
Yes, Mataji. So, but thanks for reminding that. I will send you the details of the Barsana Mataji, Barsana Rani Mataji, and so you know what is Barsana? The place called Barsana.
No,
It's
Prabhuji.
in Vrindavan. It's in Vrindavan. Please do research and
Okay.
find what is
Yes,
Barsana.
Radharani birthplace.
Radharani.
Okay.
Radharani birthplace.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
And
Prabhuji.
thank you. And I will send you the phone number of Mataji, and Prabhuji also will be there along with her. So if required only. But if personally, if any Mataji wanted to speak and take her guidance, see, the end of the day, you need some mentors, and she is wonderful mentor. And for Matajis, you can get that kind of an association. You will be really beneficial. So I prayed that if that kind of an opportunity can come to all of you, so luckily they have accepted our request, and we got their association. So we will get that kind of a more association, but best utilize what we have now, and they are wonderful devotees. And if you have any issues with respect to your grahastha, they can help you because they are experienced, and so much experience that they are mentoring so many people, and they can help you with whatever queries you have. And because sometimes you cannot open up with Prabhujis like me, but Matajis can really get related to them, and you can rest be assured their the confidentiality part. So they are very senior people who are interested to help us only. So you can open up your heart of whatever you have, and they can help you according. Anything else, Prabhuji, Matajis? No?
No.
Are we good? So we'll do Kirtan for a few minutes, and anybody, all of you, if you want, you can unmute, and we'll do Kirtan for 2-3 minutes. Okay? Mataji, after me, Kirtan is like Kirtan, and the other thing is different. Kirtan means you have to follow the other, for the lead singer. So, so follow the lead singer. Always, I should be allowed to sing first, and then followed by all of you can sing. Unmute. Everybody can unmute and do it if you want. But after me, once I do, then Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Thank you, Matajis, Prabhujis, for your wonderful association and for your wonderful participation. And we will take up the question answers this part in the next class if required. But I would wanted to take it, but let's see. But I will focus on the next chapter, which is 14th chapter, next week onwards. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Anand.